It's the bridge that needs no introduction. It is a symbol of ingenuity, perseverance, and the spirit of human ambition. San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge represents America at its best, and there's a dedicated bike trail to cross it. But if you don't plan carefully, your bucket list trip to one of the world's great landmarks may be a disappointing one. I have 5 tips for making your trip across the bridge an unforgettable experience. You can take this path up to the Visitor Center and Eastern Bridge Path. There are exhibits, a cafe, and some restrooms. For now, we are headed to the west side. This is the San Francisco end of the bridge, and we will make our way to Marin County, which is not only the most common way to do it, but also my recommendation. I'll explain why in a couple of minutes. And before we get started, just look at how incredibly beautiful this area is on a clear day. Alright, here we go. Both sides of the bridge deck are open to bikes at different times, so tip number 1 is to check the bridge website to see which side you need to be on. This western side is bikes only, so there are far fewer crowds, but the downside is that your view back at the city is obstructed. But that's okay because of what I'll show you at the end of the video. The hours vary by season and day of the week, so it's best to check the hours on the website, which I have linked in the description. In general, you'll be on the other side during the week and over here on the weekends. Bikes are permitted on the bridge 24 hours a day, but you may need to be buzzed in over at the east side gate if it's dark. For visitors, you'll want to see it during the day anyways, so check the hours before your visit to make sure you have the experience and view that you are expecting. I shot the video over several visits, on both sides, so I will be toggling back and forth to show you the full experience. Back on the east side, the views are spectacular, but you are sharing the path with everyone else, and it is more challenging to navigate your bike. I recorded this eastern side at about 10 a.m. on a Friday in April, so I had beaten the crush of spring break visitors, which is tip number 2. Come early in the morning to beat the crowds, especially if this is the only side that is open. Unfortunately, the city does not light up well for photos due to the morning sun, but an overcrowded bridge can be really unfun. If the evening works best, then you may want to lock up the bikes and walk across. I recorded this western side when Bike East Bay organized a 10-year anniversary ride for the Bay Bridge in September of 2023, so choosing our weather was impossible months in advance. In San Francisco, it can be hard to predict the weather 15 minutes into the future, so tip number 3 is to check the weather before your visit. This bridge gets its name from the waterway that connects San Francisco Bay to the Pacific Ocean. The Golden Gate is known for its powerful currents, and they made the construction of the bridge especially difficult. In addition, the winds can be very strong, so the bridge was designed with features like a flexible roadway and towers with aerodynamic cross-sections. Not only will you want to check the weather for fog before your visit, but you'll want to see how windy it is. The bridge can be really unenjoyable on a bad day. The color of the bridge is international orange, just like the Broadway Bridge in Portland, and was chosen to make it more visible in the fog. The bridge's chief engineer was Joseph Strauss, who designed Portland's Burnside Bridge, and I mentioned both of these things in my Portland City Tour video. Joseph Strauss lobbied hard for over a decade to gain support for the bridge. The Department of War was concerned that the bridge would impede ship traffic. The Navy worried that sabotage or a collision with the bridge would close one of its main harbors, a fear that is very real following the 2024 collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. Southern Pacific Railroad saw the bridge as competition to its ferry fleet. When they sued to stop the bridge, locals organized a mass boycott of the ferries. After jumping through all the bureaucratic hoops came one final significant hurdle. The stock market crash of 1929 left the Golden Gate Bridge and Highway District unable to raise the funds needed to construct it. The local counties were able to pass a bond measure, but they couldn't sell those. In 1932, Bank of America's founder, Amedeo Giannini, purchased the bonds on behalf of his local bank, which he hoped would stimulate the local economy. Construction started in 1933 and was finished in 1937. The final cost was $35 million, equal to $610 million today, and was under budget. Strauss implemented a series of innovations on this project, including a movable net below the workers, which actually saved the lives of 19 of them. Unfortunately, not all were saved. 11 men died on the project, 10 in a single incident when a scaffold fell and crashed through the safety net. 2 men survived that fall. Strauss had proposed 2 double cantilever spans linked by a central suspension segment, but it was rejected on looks. The final design came from Leon Moisef, who was also the engineer of New York City's Manhattan Bridge. Irving Morrow also gets credit for designing the overall shape of the towers, the lighting, and its Art Deco elements. When the regional train line BART was being developed in the 1960s, there was talk about running trains underneath the roadway into Marin County. BART's engineers believed it was feasible, but the bridge's board of directors had engineers that disagreed, so the plan was eventually scrapped. The total distance of the ride in this video is just under 2 miles, and the span of the bridge between the 2 towers measures 4,200 feet. The speed limit is 15 miles per hour and slows to 5 when you go around the towers. You should only see people on foot, bike, or wheelchair on the path because it is prohibited to cross on scooters, rollerblades, skateboards, and horses. While the path is completely separated from traffic, and it technically passes the 880 rule, I would be very cautious biking with little kids. This path is narrow, and especially in the summer months, can be extremely crowded. I've biked thousands of miles with Lucas, and I'd still be a little nervous about him biking with us. If your little one can bike in a line and navigate tight spaces safely, then they should be alright. Tip number 4 is to subscribe so you don't miss the next video. I'm headed to Europe this summer, and we'll have some things to share from Spain, Portugal, and Germany, in addition to ones already in the works from the Bay Area, St. Louis, and of course, Valencia. Tip number 5 is to plan the end of your ride. You have a few options once you are across, so let me run through those. I'm assuming that most viewers will be staying in the city when planning this trip. I mentioned earlier that crossing the bridge northbound is the best way to do it, and here's why. First, the connection between the bridge and Sausalito is not in a bike lane and is downhill northbound. If you do it in reverse and start somewhere like Sausalito, then you're going to be moving slowly up the hill and without protection from drivers. Second, the ferry in Sausalito will take you back to the city, and it is a delightful way to cap off your excursion. It does get crowded, especially in the summer and on weekends, so you'll want to plan accordingly. The line for the ferry can be quite long, and I believe that some ferries will sell out. You can also make your way down to Rodeo Beach and Battery Townsley, which is a long, gentle hill. Rodeo Beach is a gorgeous, pebbly beach with incredible views. A short hike away is Battery Townsley, which was part of a mid-19th century military defense system. On this eastern side is a rest area and views back at San Francisco, where you can take adorable, multi-generational pictures. If you go left, then this road leads to Sausalito, and separately, the connection to Rodeo Beach. Click the card at the end of the video to see that ride down to Rodeo Beach and Battery Townsley. You can ride to Sausalito from either side of the road, and it's really easy from here. Stay on this road, Alexander, as it makes its way gently to Sausalito. You'll make a right on Richardson to get to the water. The road gently declines about 250 feet over the course of a mile and a half. On this side of the road is a steep but short ride up to Battery Spencer. Also part of San Francisco's defense system, this trailhead is an unbeatable place to explore and take those iconic images of the bridge with the city in the background. To get to Battery Spencer, continue straight and then make a left on Consulman in about 600 feet. Sausalito is down this path to the left, and here's the card to see that video. And of course, there's always the option of just turning around and heading back the direction that you came. Give me a thumbs up if this video has been helpful. Let me know how it goes and tag me on Instagram in your photos. I'll see you on the next Greenway tour.